Hi, it's Diane, and I'm in my kitchen this time because apparently that's the one room in my apartment that actually has decent enough lighting for this, um, since I'm not at work as I would normally be. So please excuse the Patriots in the background. I realize that's probably offensive to the folks in Philly, so let me try to cover that up a bit. Um, Anyway, this week's readings were about community-based participatory research, which is actually a topic that's near and dear to me in a lot of ways because one of the things that I do with the RN to BSN students I teach is help them do much smaller scale participatory action research with the people in the various places that they are working in their practicum. Um, Nothing that would actually be scaled up to actually publish as a study, however. So it was good to see how that would scale up and what really the steps would need to be to actually have something considered fully community-based participatory research. And then we had a sample study to read and to critique whether or not it was really community-based participatory. And even in the reading notes, it's as was stated, it really was not. There were elements, for example, in the focus groups that were conducted with these LGBT adolescents, they said, okay, we're here to discuss sexual orientation. What does that mean to you? And using a flip chart, wrote down a bunch of words that they tossed out. So they did help shape the questions, but to really be community-based participatory research, then they would have had to be involved way back at the beginning, even defining the research question as to what defining sexual orientation even means and how to go about determining that. That said, I sort of envision the average human subjects committee or IRB kind of imploding at the idea that you're working with adolescents before you even have something that you can propose to the IRB and run by them for approval, because being both adolescents and being some of whom were under 18 but some of whom were not, because the ages did run from 16 to 22, and being self-identified as lesbian, gay, or bisexual, which was an inclusion criterion. They're both protected groups, so that's two reasons for such a committee to look extra hard at how you are involving these subjects. Involving them in the design actually should make the committee happier, but I do foresee that some at least would, to put it in a technical phrase, freak out. The other piece would have been, okay, at the beginning, defining the questions, defining the goal of the study, how you're going to recruit and retain participants. Maybe the adolescents that were approached originally might have said, oh, we've got a better way than going through these specific groups that you were thinking of using for recruitment. Or not, but they would have needed to be involved in that process for it to be truly community-based participatory research. And then following all the way through with the analysis, with the write-up, and at least somebody from that community would have needed to be one of the authors to really follow all the way through on the table that we were provided in the reading notes that really breaks the pieces of study development and follow through down, and how making them community-based participatory benefits both the community and the researchers. So it definitely included some elements, but was not really community-based participatory research. I'm not sure how surmountable of an obstacle that might be dealing with particularly adolescents, but I do think it's one worth looking at, because we might get very different results if we're hearing from the community what they want us to even look at. Maybe they think that figuring out how they define sexual orientation isn't all that important compared to some other thing that might be related and actually be more useful in the long run. The other thing is how community is defined in the first place. Okay, so they're all youth who identify as lesbian, gay, or bisexual, but how are they really a community? They were recruited from different groups. Some were LGBT youth groups, one was an HIV positive support group. Did these kids already know each other? If not, are they really part of the same community? Maybe they're geographically part of the same community if it, all within a specific area, but would they really define themselves as being part of a community unto themselves? So it also doesn't quite meet the criterion on that either. Although if you define the community to be youth between the ages of 16 and 22 who identify as lesbian, gay, or bisexual, who live in this specific area, then I guess it fits. But then the question is, how valid of a definition is that? And I don't know the answer. And that is about what I've got for this week. And so I will see you again in 2 weeks for the response on week 9. Take care. Bye.